All right, guys. Today is April 12th, 2026, coming at you for the live stream for the next hour to talk about the Pitt, the boys from that starts next Sunday. A bowling show that we're watching on HBO Max, a movie that connects the dots pretty well with a lot of Taylor Sheridan stuff that I've seen. I saw an interview with him, and it was pretty interesting and eye-opening, and you got to know more about the man, the myth, the legend. It is Taylor Sheridan. So hopefully you're doing well. I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about different shows and movies. Today is the Sunday at the Masters. It is the last day. Will Rory McIlroy repeat? Will he be, the winner in back-to-back years? Hasn't happened in a long time, but hey, that's pretty cool. So, will you care? Do you care about Masters? I don't know, but hopefully you guys, hopefully you're doing well. What's up, Big Tree, and everybody else joining as we speak? So, yeah, it's April 12th, and this year is going well, I'd say. We're getting a lot of stuff done. I got some work done around the side of my house on Thursday. Took care of some trees, cleared some stuff out, and it's kind of getting towards a clean slate. Gotta, do some more work there, but hey, it's a good fresh start to do whatever we want to do with the side of the house. So, how about you guys? What are you up to? What are you watching? So my wife and I, we were watching, I don't know why, but I saw some post on social media about Critters. And if you don't know what that is, that's an 80s movie that is a cheesy sci-fi, I guess, horror type genre movie. And we wanted to watch it, and we could only watch it on, I think it was Tubi, but there's ads. And we were watching it, and then there was a bunch of commercials, and then we watched it a little bit more, and then there was even more commercials, and I was like, whatever. We didn't even actually get to see the Critters, so we're trying to get back to watching that. We're watching The Labyrinth on YouTube, and again, that's another movie with ads, and that's another movie that's in the 80s. I believe they're both 1986, and The Labyrinth is still. It's a crazy movie for multiple things, but it's still a movie that kind of holds up. I know, like, when you watch something when you're younger, when you watch it at a different time of your life, do the movies hold up? And I don't know. We didn't finish Labyrinth, but it's still but it's supposed to be like a crazy movie. What's up, Tim? So we're started watching The Pitt season 2. We watched The Boys, the first 2 episodes that dropped on Wednesday. We watched it Wednesday and Thursday. And The Boys is good, of course. They do a good job, and they're picking up where stuff's left off, and, it's interesting and crazy, and it's just every season is pretty good. So hopefully you're checking that out. What's up, Negan? What else are we watching? Like I said, the bowling show Born to Bowl on HBO Max, which is kind of funny. But it's interesting. Like I said, I love a good documentary. The other thing that we just watched yesterday, it's a movie by Taylor Sheridan. It's written and directed by Taylor Sheridan. And it's called, do you know? It's on Netflix. It's called Wind River. Now, it's not Mystic River. Most people think that's the movie, but that's a different movie. It's not made by Taylor Sheridan. That's with Kevin Bacon and Sean Penn. And it's just a different movie entirely. Mystic River is a good movie. That's by Clint Eastwood, I believe. But Wind River. So I saw an interview about Taylor Sheridan with Taylor Sheridan, and it was great. It was very interesting. I respect Taylor Sheridan from where he's come, what he's doing. Just, it's a pretty awesome story. It's a rags to riches type of story, but it's not like he's super poor. But either way, he was not in the business. Then he got in the business a little bit, and then found out what the business is like. Did not like a lot of things, so wanted to ultimately make stuff that. So during the interview, there was a couple things, but one thing that really stood out to me was that he was going to write stuff that he would want to watch. And I think that's a great way of doing it. When I'm writing my book series, I'm on chapter 15 right now of Fight for Us 2, the second book. And I'm writing it that I would want to read a story like this. Maybe it would be written better. Maybe it would be written, different. But ultimately, it has the baseline of following this type of character, this type of story with friends, with family, with problems, with dysfunction, with everything on there too. So ultimately, Taylor Sheridan, I'm not going to get into his whole career, but he wrote a movie. So the first thing Taylor Sheridan ever wrote was the pilot episode of Mayor of Kingstown. And that didn't happen for a long, long, long time because other people wanted to take over the story and take it from him. And he didn't want to do that. If you learn anything from Sylvester Stallone, when you have something and you create something, you want to keep it. You don't want to just give up control, give up to other people, because you'll probably lose all aspect of it. You won't have any connection with it. They'll just take it. They can make it. They can shelf it. They can do whatever too. But Negan says, watch season 4 Bob Lazar documentary story when he worked at Area 51. Makes you wonder. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And so Taylor Sheridan wrote the pilot episode for Mayor of Kingstown. Was the first thing he ever wrote, is what he said. And it was going to get picked up, and it was going to be this, but it didn't work out for a long, long, long time. And then he finally made it many years later. But the next big thing he wrote was Sicario. And that was made, and it was a really good story, and it was good, and the movie is good. And then he had ideas for different things and whatever on there too. But I'm not sure if he wrote Hell and High Water first, or if it was Wind River first, or second after Sicario. But I don't know which the order was, but it's not important. The big thing is Wind River. Has anyone ever seen the movie Wind River? Let me know in the chat if you've seen that movie. And if you have, let me know what you think of it. And if you have, you definitely know the connections that I'm going to talk about. Because he has his whole setup with his people from that movie. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know the many people that are in his different shows, like Yellowstone, Mayor of Kingstown, 1883, 1923. Like, they're different things. He also doesn't write for Tulsa King, Marshals, and Dutton Ranch. He doesn't write those 3 shows. He writes Lioness and Madison, Yellowstone, 1883, 1923. Those were his. So it says, I'm not sure by Wind River was the first Sheridan work. So I'm just going what he said in the interview, is that he wrote that, and then I can't remember if it's Wind River or Hell or High Water, but either way. So Wind River stars Jeremy Renner, who's in Mayor of Kingstown, who stars in that show. It also has a variety of people from Mayor of Kingstown, Landman, Yellowstone, and it just branches off, and it's pretty interesting. So if you haven't seen it and you like Taylor Sheridan stuff, definitely check out Wind River, and you'll see all the connections with. Also, John Bernthal's in that movie as well, John Berthal is in Sicario. So Taylor Sheridan likes to have his similar people, which I totally get, because if you know and you can trust these actors, look at Martin Scorsese. He has the same people that he works with typically. It just makes sense because you can trust that the people are going to show up and do a good job. And that's a huge thing in production, in anything you make and create, or anything you do with employees that work at a job or do anything that we're going to have. It's like, it makes sense. But ultimately, you have to trust the people you're around that you're going to work with, whatever that's being done too. So, but so from season 4 starts next Sunday, so on MGM Plus. And if you're a From fan, hopefully you're excited for this, because I think and hope we're going to get a lot of answers. I don't know if we're going to get all the answers, because I don't think this is the final season. We'll hopefully get one more season, but hopefully with just one more season. Like, I don't need them to drag out. I could be perfectly happy with From being the fourth and final season, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just the fourth season, and then we should have another fifth season, but I don't know where it's at on there too. So, yeah, Jeannie, Darabont did bring a lot of the Walking Dead case. Well, I think Darabont had his people from The Mist, and I wonder if anybody else came over from The Mist production to bring it over for the Walking Dead, universe. And it's crazy because, one, I'm glad the Walking Dead universe survived Frank Darabont leaving, because that could have been a huge wrench in the show. That could have been a huge problem for second half of season 2, season 3, season 4, season 5, and so on. It might have only lasted a couple more seasons. But Frank Darabont, did a lot of great things for the first season and half of the second season, and then left the production. And then you had a different showrunner, and then then we had Gimple, and, all those things. So, Megan says another good documentary on Netflix is about cheating at the chess championship. So, yeah, no, that's pretty cool. The other thing too is my wife always falls asleep when I put on a documentary or something remotely educational on Netflix or HBO, whatever we're watching, and so it's kind of funny. But yeah, it's I love a good documentary. The other thing that was interesting is that I didn't watch it, but so there's a series on Netflix that's called Untold, and it's all about sports stories. And I'm pretty sure it's the one about Brett Favre, The Fall of Favre, I believe it's called. And I haven't seen it, but on the local radio station here in Tampa, it's 102.5 The Bone, and it's the Mike Calta show that I was listening to when I was driving to work. He was interviewing the woman that is in that documentary, who went to Florida State, who was working for the Jets at the time, and it's a whole documentary about how Brett Favre's people tried to get her phone number, and then they got her phone number, and then he was sending inappropriate pictures, and it just sounds terrible. And then they took his side over her side, and then she was blacklisted and fired, and it's just like a terrible situation. And the crazy part is that she says that she has actually never met Brett Favre, but people were thinking this and people were thinking that, and she was actually being interviewed because she went to Florida State, and she also knew one of the people on the show, and now she does stand-up comedy, and she's this on there as well. And so I've not seen it, but that is another documentary, and I believe her name is is it Jen Sturger or something like that is her name. And so but hopefully she's doing okay, and she got her fame, but it's also bad fame. So even though it's 15 minutes of fame, it's not the best, especially when you're being accused of something that sounds like she didn't do. So I don't know. It's just kind of crazy too. So Jeannie says the best doc I saw on Netflix was the toys it's like the toys that made us, and it's the different things they talk about, like Masters of the Universe and Barbie and Star Wars and Ninja Turtles and everything on there. And yeah, that's a good series as well. G.I. Joe and everything. And it's true, because growing up, it was a big deal of toys, shows, movies, merchandise. And that's really how George Lucas made a lot of his money from Star Wars, obviously from the movies and everything on there too, but he made probably billions of dollars from the actual toys and the merchandise. And one of the funny things about Spaceballs is that Mel Brooks he talked to George Lucas about getting the okay to make Spaceballs. And George Lucas said, sure, but you can't make any merchandise. You can't make any toys. You can't make anything from that. And the funny part of the movie is that he couldn't. The part of the bit with yogurt is like, Merchandising. Spaceballs the t-shirt. Spaceballs the flamethrower. Spaceballs the breakfast cereal. Spaceballs the whatever. And there's no merchandise of any sort. And Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, is coming out hopefully next year. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited for a lot of the movies, too, that are coming out. I don't know how and when I'm going to watch them, but they show you the popcorn buckets for Mortal Kombat 2, and they're pretty cool. Now, there's a Yoshi one, because my favorite character in Mario, the universe of Mario, Super Mario Brothers, is Yoshi. And you could buy a popcorn bucket of Yoshi sitting there with an egg that opens up and the popcorn's in the egg. And you could buy it for like $50. I'm like, who's going to buy a popcorn bucket, popcorn tin, popcorn anything for $50? I'm like, crazy. And some of the Mortal Kombat ones are pretty cool. Like they have like the logo with the dragon on it, and I'm like, that's pretty cool just to have out, But I'm like, yeah, I mean, you got to do something. I'm guessing movie theaters have to do something about bringing people in, because myself, I'll just wait for it to be on streaming. Like I'll just wait for it to be on Disney Plus or HBO Max or whatever. And I think not everybody, but majority of people, like times are tough. Money is tough. Money is tight. Like driving to the gym this morning, gas was $3.92 or 98 or something. I don't know, whatever it was. I got to get gas actually, later today. And it's tough because it's expensive, close to $4 a gallon. And if I got to get, I don't even know, 15 gallons or something, that's going to be pretty big bucks versus what it used to be a month ago or however long ago. And then you got to go food shopping. Everything costs money there, and they add the fuel surcharges are being added by UPS and USPS and FedEx and cruises and airlines and everything else. You're going to pay extra for it. So hopefully we can get all this stuff situated in the Middle East and whatever, and then the price of oil can come down and everything can come down forever, or for at least a while, not forever, because stuff gets manipulated up and down all around. So, but that's the way stuff goes, and going to the movies is, selective. That's not necessary. Having food, having water, having electricity, internet is necessities, but that's just how it goes. Megan says, diesel here in Arizona, I saw was $6.50 a gallon. Everything is transported by diesel. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think they got to get more towards the electric, not entirely that, but I wonder what it's like. Because in Florida, electricity is pretty cheap to have, and especially if you have solar panels, and then you can make electricity and then get it back and then charge your stuff on there too, Christy says, Jeannie, my brother would have wanted to be adopted by your mom. That's funny. So, it's just a lot of tough times on there, too, coming up. Hopefully it gets better with the ceasefire in there, and it trickles down for the economics. And hopefully we're doing well with our finances and money and everything. But, it's April, and then it'll be May, and then June, and then the summer, and then the fall, and then the winter, and then it'll be over, and then 2027. And I got a lot of stuff coming up. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you did your taxes, because that's coming up too. Today's the 12th. They got to be in by the 15th. So hopefully you're getting a tax return. You're getting a little refund. And that's all done. So we got our taxes done and refunded a little bit of money, which was better than paying like last year. So I learned the hard way what not to do and do certain things. So, but, watching stuff at home to save money, watching stuff on our streaming services, because I don't know about you, but we just have internet and streaming services. Like, we don't have actual cable, so we're watching the stuff on Amazon or Hulu or Disney Plus or Paramount Plus or Netflix or whatever on there too. And our internet is $100, which has gone up and up and up. And I'm really hoping we can get Verizon Fios around the area. I know that I've been getting notices in the mail about they're going to put it in our area, and then when you switch, you usually get like a gift card, and they guarantee the things for so long. And so if it can get down to like $60 a month, that would be pretty awesome because that would save a lot of money every month for hopefully the same quality, if not better, internet too. For fiber optic is definitely just a better conduction of internet signal, so it should be much better for everything too as well. So yeah, so he said everything's going up, so everything trickles down. So it goes over there for assembly lines and working and production and manufacturing and everything. So we'll have to see. But yeah, stockpile all your stuff, I guess, right? Get your food while you can. Yeah. So it's good. So hopefully you got your taxes on the way done. I'm going to get that in the system. Your return, if you're going to get one, usually takes at least 2 weeks. Ours took exactly 2 weeks. So it's just be on the lookout for that. But yeah, guys, so I know even Netflix is going up. My wife got a notice in her email that our Netflix is going up. I think it's like $2 or something before tax. So after tax, it'll probably go up $3 or something. I don't know. So, but you know, you got to make sacrifices. You got to do what you got to do, and you know, luckily we're doing okay and we're doing well. Talk to you guys and be a part of this every Sunday. So it's nice to have our community to talk about different things. There's really no news about The Walking Dead besides I saw something about the writers. I believe Dead City is 8 episodes for season 3, and the Daryl season 4, the final season, is 8 episodes as well. So it's kind of crazy that the Daryl Dixon show is coming up on the 4th and final season. I wonder what's going to happen with Daryl. You know, what is going to be the future for the Walking Dead franchise? Because there was all this talk of like they could do a movie and they could do this and they could do that, but then the movies became the Rick and Michonne show, which was 1 season of 6 episodes. Will there be another show? Will there be another series? Will there be The Walking Dead 12th and final season? Like, what are they going to do? Because it just, to me, unless major things happen in the Daryl show, but then you have Dead City after that. So it just seems like, what are they doing? Right? At least in, you know, different shows. Like, we always have to go back to like Marvel, because Marvel is, we have, you know, this character, that character, they come together, they form the Avengers, they do that, this character, that character, another Avengers team up show, movie, or whatever on there. It makes sense. But in the Walking Dead stake, I don't know when Dead City, there's been no announcement of when Dead City or even the Daryl show is going to be on. I believe we're going to have the Daryl show first and then Dead City is my guess, but there's been no talk about it at all. So we don't know just yet. I'm guessing that the Daryl show could be the summer and Dead City could be October, or they do September, October. Like, I don't know, because again, it's 8 episodes, so it's 2 months whenever they try to do it too. So, but I don't know what their plan is. There's been no talk. So the Daryl show is going to end, and so Daryl, Carol, they got to live, right? We highly doubt that Daryl and Carol are going to be gone. The rest of the characters, they can go. Like, who cares? They're expendable. They're disposable. Daryl and Carol, it's all about them. So after they survive, I'm guessing, what do they do? Do they stay in Europe? Do they come home? Does it end with them getting back to the United States? Do we have the reunion? Does it actually end that way? There's no news about that. We have no idea. Then there's Dead City, which is the Maggie and Negan show. And are we going to have them? So you can have Dead City be the show, but if we have a season 4, if that's the only show in the Walking Dead universe on television, I'm guessing they have to reboot it and redo it and restart it with the addition of other Walking Dead people, because the Walking Dead cast members could be on there. Dead City, it's not Maggie and Negan. It's called Dead City. It could be whoever they want to add to the show. Just like Fear the Walking Dead brought over Morgan, brought over other people. It kind of worked. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, when they brought stuff over, but again, it was the 4th season where it happened. Are they going to follow suit with that being there on The Walking Dead. Dead City, Season 4, reboot, redo, bring people over to have that. It would be really cool if Daryl and Carol joined that show. They go to New York now, and then they're working their way back to Ohio. It could happen. It could also not happen, too. But just like Tim and Negan and everyone says, I believe that Daryl needs to be back in America, too. And I don't know what their plan is because we have no idea. There's been no talk. There's been no communication. I haven't heard anything from Gimple. I know Greg Nicotero has been at some conventions. I don't know if he's been actually talking about anything. I don't know how involved Greg Nicotero is with things now. And I don't know if they're ever going to, so in the heyday of The Walking Dead, I don't even know how many people it was, 13 million, 14 million, 15 million, whatever it was, 16 million households or whatever were watching The Walking Dead. And its peak, it was a lot. It was millions and millions and millions of people. And even if they got half of that or a third of that, and say they got like 4 or 5 million households or people or whatever the ratings actually go by, that would still be pretty good. But this is kind of what all the universes happen, is that stuff gets watered down. And The Walking Dead went 11 seasons. That's a long time. And then they had spin-offs and all this stuff, and they are what they are. Right. Yeah, I know. The Walking Dead was a game-changing show for television like that, too. Like, it was such a big deal. Like, people that are watching it now or are hearing about it now or, like, missed the heyday of it. And, like, I started talking about The Walking Dead in Season 6. Like, I wish I was talking about it in Season 3, Season 4, Season 5 on YouTube, because that was a big deal. It was a huge deal when everybody was talking about it, too. And, like, you couldn't get enough of theories, of speculation, of spoilers, of teasers, of trailers, of everything, It was amazing how you'd watch the show on Sunday, watch the after show, Talking Dead, see the sneak peek, break that down, talk about that, break all the stuff down, get the spoilers, break those down, see what could happen. And that was like every week. And it was 16 episodes. Majority of the seasons became 16 episodes. It was like 13. It was like 6 episodes, and then 13, and then it went to 16 for a bunch of seasons. But it was 8 episodes, then a little bit of break, and then 8 episodes, and then a big break. Comic-Con was a huge deal, especially for Walking Dead, when they had trailers. Some of those trailers were like so long. They were like, I want to say like 4 minutes. Some of the trailers were 4 or 5 minutes. Like they were 3, 4, whatever. They were minutes long. Some trailers you get now are like 2 minutes, and you're lucky to see that. And it's crazy. If you ever go back and watch the trailers of The Walking Dead, they mislead. They misdirect all the time. Like, they made a big deal. I think it was like Season 6, was it? When Morgan was talking about this and that, and there was the divide, and there was like, is there going to be Morgan versus Rick, and it was going to be this, and it was like, it was painting this picture like they were going to, fight each other and go at each other, which was crazy. And it was just so crazy. But I don't know if that'll ever happen again. And I mean, there's been some huge shows. Breaking Bad, Sopranos. I don't even know. Like, they were huge shows. Game of Thrones. And Walking Dead, just to me, was even crazier. And now it's a different world, different times, whatever. Like, you can look at the Paradise show. If you haven't watched Paradise on Hulu, definitely recommend it. You can watch that podcast. You can watch the podcast of the show. Like there's a podcast for like every show that you're watching. like make sure you check out the podcast of the show. You know, every show, like there's a Game of Thrones podcast and this podcast and that podcast, and now they have podcasts about shows that are done, where the people that were on the shows, they go through all the episodes and they talk about the episodes there too. I know a couple women from the Office were doing that, and they were breaking stuff down. Which I'm like, I don't really need to care that much about it, you know. Like, I mean, I am an Office fan and I like certain shows, but I'm like, I don't need to really go that deep dive into some podcasts. I like the little clips here and there, especially. So that's what started. I saw an interview because I was trying to get more information about Taylor Sheridan, and I saw a clip of an interview, and then I finally found the whole interview. And it was really interesting. Like it's a great story because I said it at the beginning of the live stream that I love the people that, I hate to say come from nothing, but like Sylvester Stallone was a minimal actor and then now is a huge star. Taylor Sheridan was a minimal actor, minimal things, and now is a huge person in the world of entertainment. And it sounds like he's doing things the right way. And we need more people like that. We need more people like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck who have a production company where the people get a piece of the pie of the production company. We need more of those things where people are getting a big piece of the pie, because the executives of, you know, Paramount and HBO and Warner Brothers and whatever, all the big guys, all the big studios, they're making millions and millions and millions of dollars, which they should, because they're huge things. You know, I'm not trying to take away people's money, but the small guy that's, you know, doing a lot of work for the production isn't the same as the guy who's making, you know, $20 million to star in the movie. And yeah, you should be paid differently, but if you could raise the pay of people around there too, you know, if you have skin in the game, if you have part ownership of it, if you have, you know, some sort of connection with the production, with the studio, with the movie, with whatever production company, you can get a piece of it, you know. That you're going to work harder, you're going to put in that extra work, you're going to do the extra things, you're a part of it too. Like if it's just you, like if you're in your business, if it's sink or swim, like it comes down to you, I would assume that most people would do really good work or put in the extra effort because it makes sense to, right? Like if there's no incentive to work hard, why would people work hard? If there's no incentive to do a great job or work extra hours, if there's no overtime, you don't get paid for it, you're not going to work hard, you're not going to do those things. But if there is, if you're connected with that, you have your base pay, but in there too, typically you can do that. And not a lot of companies do that, but some of them, not a lot, like I said, but some do that, and it's pretty good. But, you know, that's just I think that's a pipe dream. I think that's the thing, and I don't know what's going to eventually happen with it, but that's just entertainment. That's one aspect of it, you know, too. So Adrian says, hi, Brian, I'm watching season 8 of The Walking Dead, episode 815. Getting there to the end on there, too. Christy says the guy that sings in the bar on Marshall's from about 30 minutes from where... Marshall's from about 30 minutes where I live. He was on the show The Road. Cool. Is that, like, I mean, I didn't watch the latest episode of Marshall's because I'm just like, don't really, I mean, there was other stuff that came on or whatever, but is it the bigger guy with the long hair, the country style kind of song that he's got the guitar? I mean, he's got a good voice. He's definitely a good singer. But when I found out, and it was confirmed, that Taylor Sheridan does not write for the Marshall show, you can see how it feels different than Yellowstone, The Madison, you know, the other things. You know, Tulsa King is basically the Sylvester Stallone show. Taylor Sheridan does not write that. He does not write that. And he's not going to write Dutton Ranch, is what he said. But that's a good show, potentially, probably because of Beth and Rip. And I think that's going to be a good enough show because it looks really good in the trailer. And it would be kind of cool to see what's going to be the future of that. And then I don't know what the future of Taylor Sheridan shows are going to be with Paramount Plus, because I don't know when his actual contract ends, but I know the word is that he was going to leave Paramount Plus and go to NBC. But is he going to start new there? Is he going to be able to take stuff with him? Is he going to be able to take the characters and the shows with him to go there? Or is he going to have to start fresh? Because that's difficult to do, man. Like, he's caught lightning in a bottle multiple times. And that is difficult to do once, let alone be able to do that. And a lot of the shows are kind of similar and whatever on there, but it's fine. It works. And his stuff works. Yeah, Tim says that's actually why the Marshals don't fit. It doesn't. It feels like it's made for CBS, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like the lines of like Tracker, which is a decent show. I haven't seen it in a while, but it was a decent show. Or NCIS, or CSI, or those like bottle episodes that really carry. And I know this episode is supposed to carry over. I didn't watch today's, and I didn't watch last week's, but it was the one that was carried over from the previous one where they were going after the traffickers and stuff, and so it finally went to be continued. And the bigger thing is when the stories kind of connect and evolve, and you have 8, 10, 12, 13, 16 episodes or whatever to start, plant the seed, do something, and move on, and then get it, and then move on to the next thing, but set the tone for what's going to happen. And I don't know, Marshals just feels off. And it's a shame, because if Casey Dutton wasn't in this Marshall show, I wouldn't watch it. I don't watch the other shows that I just mentioned, NCIS or whatever, that stuff on there too, and there's nothing wrong with those shows. People like them, but it just doesn't have the same feel, It would be like having Rick Grimes go to another show, and it's not the same. It's like a cop show. It's him being a police officer in King County, but it's not written by the same people. It just has him being in it. And Casey Dutton is a good character. Luke Grimes does a good job. But it just doesn't feel what we're used to. And that's kind of, different. But it's alright, it's worth watching. It's not that serious of a thing. It's a TV show, whether it's good or bad. It's not this game-changing, life-altering thing. But like I said before, earlier in the stream, I'm on chapter 15 of Fight For Us 2, the second book there. I'm excited for it, and I'm going to try to get the first rough draft done this month, and then wrap it up and have my wife read it and go through our process there too. So Chris asks, Doc, do you watch The Pitt? Yes, ma'am, I do. The Pitt is, to me, I don't know, I'm going to ask you guys this. Is Pitt the best medical show? Well, I think it's the best medical show on TV right now, obviously. But is it the best medical show, or one of the best medical shows ever? And I know it's too early to tell. It's only 2 seasons, and I don't know how many seasons it's going to be. But we watched an episode yesterday, and I think it was season 2, episode 6, around that time, 5 or 6. It just flows very well. Like Noah Wiley, and they said, I saw a video, I didn't click on it, but I saw a video on YouTube, and they were like, the best television doctor ever. Or the actor. And Noah Wiley is, because he was on ER and The Pitt. And I think he is. Like, I never really watched ER, but people love that show. And Noah Wiley does such a good job on The Pitt. And he always has, like, some sort of problem, or some sort of solution to the problem, or some sort of connection, or whatever. And so it's I didn't get to the political episode or whatever, and I'll have to see if it's really that bad. But I just feel like Noah Wiley does a great job as the lead doctor. But it's pretty cool to see the other people that are there, right? You see the other doctors, the other residents, the nurses, the head lady that I guess she's a nurse, and it's the white lady with the I have to say blonde hair, but the white hair, I guess, because she's older, but like blondish, whitish hair. And she runs the nurses station, and I don't know if she's a director or what her actual position is, but she's great. Like, she has no nonsense, and she's there to help people, but also be tough love, but also direct people and stick up for people and whatever. Like it's a small thing, but yeah, Bryan Cranston's daughter is Melissa King. I have a whole video talking about it. But it's pretty cool. I enjoy that fun fact because I love Bryan Cranston, and it's pretty funny that his daughter is a good character. She's a good actress on the show too. And I didn't even know that after watching the first season. I found that out after the fact too. So, and I probably would have watched it either way. And I don't know if it would have. It was kind of eye opening to see that too. So, the head charge nurse, yeah, that's probably right, charge nurse. So she's great. And when she's teaching the new nurse, that's like her first day, the guy like grabs her, the new nurse, by the arm and says like, "When am I going to see a doctor?" And she grabs this thing off the wall and she says, "You don't grab a medical professional in here. That's a second-degree felony, blah, 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 on there too. It's a busy weekend. We'll get you when we get to you on there too as well." I was like, okay. She puts the thing back on the wall because in season 1, she was attacked. So she's got zero tolerance for that too. And it's kind of funny. You should never put your hands on anybody, whether you're, in any way, shape, or form. But I just love it. It's just, she's great, and then Dr. Robbie's great, obviously, and Mel's great, and the other lady, I forget her name, the one who had the ankle monitor, she's great. It's just like, and then the surgeon's daughter that is there too, she's great. Like, it's just, everybody fits. Huckleberry, I don't know his real name. Huckleberry, he's funny. The other one that's kind of annoying is the girl that had they gave the nickname to Huckleberry. She's a little too much. She's a little full of herself. She's a little this, a little that too, and she's the one that kind of causes, not problems, but like is going through a lot. And the latest thing is she's having trouble with documentation, and that's a real problem. If you know anything in medicine and patient care and anything like that, is documentation sucks. It's essential and it's extremely important, but it's the worst part because you can't be at the computer and treat the patient and then go back to the computer and do this, and you have to remember everything that you did. And in their aspect, it's like, we thought this, differential diagnosis, we gave this because we thought it was this, we gave this drug at this milligrams or this whatever. And it's like, So it's definitely something that I just enjoy for being, in the medical field. And it was pretty cool because when I was in physical therapy school, House was on Fox. And that still is a great show for multiple reasons. But I just love the medicine. I love that it's real. I love that it's like Scrubs was just too over the top, and it was a comedy, obviously, and it was just trying to be a medical show that was more of a comedy, and it was this, and then relationships, and here and there, and whatever. It was just like a little too much. And there's always going to be things with the relationships, and this, and there, and whatever. But, it's something that the medicine should be the focal point. The stuff that the people have to deal with, that if you know medicine, if you are a doctor, a nurse, any sort of medical practitioner, you've been in a hospital, you worked in a hospital, you've been to the ER, you know that it's like this. I mean, the Pitt is a crazy hospital. Like, it's like so much stuff is happening every second on there too. Is that, and I know it's, the shift is the whole season, but it's kind of crazy that so much is happening, and they do highlight that it's a busy holiday weekend, it's a busy this, it's a busy that, so stuff would be happening, so it makes sense. But And I haven't finished season 2, and I believe the finale is this week. But I'll have to see what happens in setting up season 3, because I would assume there's going to be a season 3, right? Season 3 is got to be happening, because The Pitt, to me, is a great show that is winning a lot of stuff, and people love it. And I don't know anybody who doesn't like the show. I mean, if you don't like it because of a political reason or whatever, that's okay. But I haven't got there and seen that or whatever. And it's also like some people are going to have views because of where they're from or what they are or what they do or their experiences or whatever too. And I guess if it turns people off on there, I guess that it's going to hurt the show, but only time will tell. I hope that they'll eventually do like the night shift, because every time both seasons have been the day shift with Dr. Robbie. So I don't know if they're going to eventually change that or mix things up or whatever, because they started first season, and the second season there was a time jump in between seasons, and so we'll have to see if they do another time jump for season 3 or not. But I don't know, like they can bring people in, people leave, people there, different professionals, different, psychiatrists, different doctors, different nurses, people come and go all the time. In the medical field, just like any job, people come and go. People work there for 2-3 months, 6 months, a year, 10 years, whatever, and they're gone. Some people are in and out. There could be a 13-week rotation, a 13-week year. You're going to have different students. You're going to have different things, different, residents, because it's a teaching hospital too. So it's, just makes sense to mix it up. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But we'll have to see. It's just, I don't know. I don't know of any other medical show on television right now that's is better than that too. So, but they cover certain things that happened in COVID and everything, and so they're connected with real life and the world there as well. And it's interesting. It's pretty cool. The Pitt, I enjoy watching it. The Boys, I'm enjoying. Hopefully you guys are watching The Boys, season 5, the 5th and final season. It's kind of crazy because anytime there's people from the Walking Dead universe, like Ginny from Folks Call Me Ginny from Fear the Walking Dead, terrible character. The voice was annoying. Everything was annoying about that character in Fear the Walking Dead. But the character in The Boys, or the actress in The Boys that she plays, same actress, is different. So it was kind of crazy last episode where you find out what's going on with that character. But they get, talking about different things in the world and here and there too. And some people like it, some people love it. But I enjoy it because, in a superhero world, you have the different things. I don't know, Chrissy. That's a good question. I said I'm not up to date of the episodes. I believe there's 15 episodes, so I don't know if they're all available now or not. Or if not, Thursday would be the finale. If it wasn't last week, it'll probably be this week. So The Boys, if you don't know, it's a superhero show that superheroes are not the best of people. Not the worst of people. They are themselves. They have power. They have, different abilities. And some will be good with it. Some will be bad with it. And they're kind of turned into celebrities and turned into influencers and turned into different things. But it's just kind of interesting. It's a different take. And the boys that we're following are people that have been wronged by these superheroes. So So Laurie Holden was on The Boys. She's not a main actress by any means. She was there one season, and she was a different superhero. But she was on The Boys. And so the main villain, or I guess he's a villain for sure. Homelander is the main superhero, which is Superman. He is an American superhero that has really all the same powers as a Superman, but he's not the best guy. He's a flawed individual, and so when you have someone with that amount of power who has these issues that he has, it causes some things on there too. It's interesting, but we'll have to see what happens with that. And we'll have to see what happens with the future of that, because I know there's going to be spin-offs of that universe too, with the Soldier Boy show and everything. It's pretty cool. But next Sunday is the season 4 premiere of From, and it's pretty interesting. I forget what her superhero was. She's like Crimson something was her. Forget her actual powers, and I forget who what her name was. But you can look it up. Laurie Holden, The Boys. So From season 4 premieres next Sunday. And I feel like it's been a long time. And the trailer has been setting things up. So we'll have to see what's up with the Man in Yellow and Jim and Julie and Boyd and all the people that are there. We're gonna get some new characters. We're gonna get some answers. Right? So we'll have to see. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see about the new characters, of how they play a part, and what's really happening with Jim and these characters that have been there for so long. And then we found out some big information last season that there's been, and people are thinking about it being like a multiverse, and that Ethan is the main, I guess, not storyteller, but the book, The Flight of the Chromonocle or whatever it was, is going to be a big deal for getting answers. And so we'll have to see, because eventually they'll have to figure out what's going on, and if they know what knowledge comes at a cost, we'll have to see what that really means for people's sake. And we're trying to think of the theories, and again, whether you believe in the colors or not, in the world of From, they're definitely involved with the show, especially blue and yellow. And it's interesting, people were showing all these different things on Facebook, and I have not gone back and watched any other episode besides the pilot episode of From. And it's pretty cool to see where it's come from and where it's going. But it'll be interesting to see what the answers are with the characters, and hopefully we get answers and they don't drag it out, because that's the biggest thing, is they've just set up more and more and more and more and more things, and now we want answers. Enough of the questions. We already have so many questions. You can give a couple more questions, but we want more answers than questions, and setting up. Again, I don't know if it's going to be a 5-season run, but I love the idea of it being a one more season and wrapping it up and being done, because I think 5 or 6 seasons is the best amount of seasons for a show. Now you can go a little bit more if the writing is there, if the production is there, if the actors are there. But typically stuff falls through the gaps, and money and budget and people, and they leave, and it's just so many different things. It's kind of hard to do that. But we're coming up on that. I mean, season 4 is in a week, so we'll have to see what it builds for sure. Yeah, no, there's a lot of theories that the Man in Yellow is a shapeshifter, so then he is always present around, always watching. And like I said, there's a lot of theories. Hopefully we start getting answers next week for it. I'm definitely going to watch. We'll have to see how much I watch of the Masters this Sunday to see if Rory wins or Sam Burns or Cam Young wins. We'll have to see who actually pulls that out. And it was pretty cool. The Masters, to me, is one of the best golf tournaments in the world. Basketball, college basketball is done. We have NBA playoffs will be starting up pretty soon. NHL playoffs will start pretty soon. End of the month will be the NFL draft. This weekend is WrestleMania. I won't be watching that now because it's on ESPN Unlimited. Some extra thing you have to buy, like I'm done watching that stuff because I'm not gonna afford all these other things to watch. I've already have to pay enough for the other streaming services, so I can't afford something else for just wrestling. And it's kind of cool that UFC is on Paramount Plus now, but I don't even find myself watching it live. I watch it the next day for what happened, the conclusion, the breakdown, the Sports Center type of, if you will, like to get a breakdown of things is much better than sitting there not wasting your time, but committing your time to watching everything on there too. And so a breakdown of stuff is sometimes a little bit better, especially like if you're going to watch a bunch of different fights. You got to have a couple hours. You're going to invest 3 hours to watch a sporting event, a fight card, basketball game, football game, whatever, where I'll check the scores and do other stuff, because a TV show is a half hour, 43 minutes, an hour. A movie is like an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, Like when a movie is over 3 hours, hopefully it doesn't feel that way. Like several of the Avengers movies, the Marvel movies, are over 3 hours. Not a lot of them, but some of them are. But there's so much going on for that time that they connect the dots with this story, with that, to answer this, to answer this, to answer that. It works. But a lot of times with a sporting event, like I'm not going to watch the whole thing. If I do, it's like on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. And, I can just check the scores nowadays. It's so easy to go online or on your phone and just bring up the scores to see what's actually going on. I don't need to watch the exact thing. I can find out who won, who lost, and then the big plays will be everywhere. The big things will be everywhere, too. So we'll have to see what happens with the shows coming up, but I'm excited, man. The Boys is underway. From's next week. We have, Daredevil Season 2 is decent. It's May, what was that? May, I forget. The Punisher is going to have a movie, like an hour-long movie called like One Last Kill or something, or something. I forget what it's actually called, but it's Jon Bernthal being the Punisher. And if you know Daredevil and you watch the first season of Daredevil, Born Again, it's the way it happened with the ending is like, what happened with the Punisher? What happened there too, So we'll have to see about that, but that's going on strong. And then you have different movies coming out with, Mortal Kombat next month, and Mortal Kombat 2. But there's a lot of stuff going down, and then before you know, in June will be House of the Dragon Season 3. And then meanwhile, From and Marshals and the Pitt will be over, but, I'll be watching that for a little bit longer. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. I'm excited for the different shows building up, and then hopefully we'll get news about Dead City and the Daryl Dixon Show. Hopefully we'll get trailers, information, release dates. That's the big thing, is when is stuff coming out? And then I am excited. I don't know when it's coming out, but the God of War TV show, Reacher, was it season 4? There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out here, hopefully sooner rather than later. And then you never know when other shows come out. Like I watch a documentary on Netflix called Full Swing. That's going to be season 3 coming out soon. Today is like Tyson Fury, the boxer. They have a reality TV show that comes out. Season 2 comes out today. There was something else coming out on Netflix. It said coming soon, but we'll have to see when different things come out. But they're adding stuff all the time, which is pretty excited to see where stuff's going and what's going to build up for the rest of the year. So thank you guys for taking the time to be here. I truly appreciate it. So next Sunday, I'm definitely going to talk about From. I don't know if I'll watch it and do all that stuff because it'll probably be, the next following week, so we'll be an episode behind, one of those kind of things each week. So we'll be able to discuss from the Pit. We always love talking about that. Any other shows or movies on there too. And I'm thinking about doing like a when things kind of open up a little bit more, like a wellness Wednesday videos where we'll have different topics talking about health and wellness and exercises and nutrition and everything on there. So that'll be something in the future, but look out for that. And I appreciate you guys taking the time being here. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. I'll be back next Sunday to talk about all the different stuff. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals, whatever they are. Keep working hard at it, whatever it is. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next Sunday. See you guys. See ya.